Hello everyone and welcome back to Georgia Papercrafts. Today I am doing an Easter card. I don't know about you, but I have not been able to buy any new Easter themed products this year with everything going on. So I definitely went and shopped my stash and found two older Lawn Fawn stamp sets that I wanted to use. So here I am using these stamp sets, Easter Parade and Happy Easter um, no, it's Easter Party, sorry, Easter Party and Happy Easter from Lawn Fawn. Both are smaller sets, and I am inking them up with VersaFine Onyx Black ink and then coating them with some clear embossing ink or clear embossing powder. It's the Brutus Monroe Icicle embossing powder. And what I'm going to do is color all of these with my Tombow markers. Now, I have had these Tombow markers for a long time now, and I just have never really used them. I'm not sure why, but I just never have. But I was watching a video that Mindy Egan was doing, and she was using her Tombow markers, and I thought, you know what? Let me pull mine out and give mine a try. So I'm doing that, and I have to tell you that I am loving these things. They just really pull out so beautifully, but I have learned a few things along the way. So, first of all, what I've learned is that these markers work really well on Bristol Smooth cardstock. The cardstock I have here is Bristol Smooth, and I'm just laying down light colors. When I say colors, light lines of colors, and then pulling it out with a little bit of water from you can use a water brush or just paintbrush and some water off to the side like I have here. But what I found was when I didn't use Bristol Smooth cardstock, when I used just regular watercolor cardstock, like the Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock, I didn't get as good of a blend. I'm not quite sure why, but I definitely would say recommend if you're using these markers, you should use them on Bristol Smooth, or at least try them on Bristol Smooth, because for me, they worked really well and I loved using them. So, of course, you need to lay down your colors first, and then pull it all out with just a touch of water. And of course, like I say, you can't. It's very difficult to add any more color once you've laid it down and gotten it wet. So, if you want it really dark, color it all in and not pull so much out. But if you want it to kind of lighten up as you pull it out, then just put down a little bit, kind of like these lines I'm doing here, and then just pull it out from there, and it'll lighten it up just a little bit. So those are the things that I have learned using these markers. Now, they remind me very much of my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, which I love using too. However, I like to use my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers just by laying down a basic color and then kind of the darker color, and then pulling out with a lighter color instead of using water. I mean, I've done it both ways, but you definitely get a more vibrant color when you do it like that. I have not tried that with these markers yet, but I anticipate I will, as I am pretty much obsessed with using them right now. I've done a bunch of projects right now by coloring these, and the next project actually I'll be having a video for is another Easter card, a couple Easter cards, and that time I decided I would try the no line coloring, watercoloring, which scares the Jesus out of me because I'm not a good artist by any means, and yeah, I think it would turn into a terrible mess. However, I will tell you that it turned out pretty well. I've already done it. I just have to finish the voiceover of it. So that'll be coming up, and I definitely encourage you to watch that. So um, just coming along and coloring here, multiple different colors. Um, I am going to be cutting these out with the accompanying dies that go along with these sets, and I'll be doing that off screen. You won't see me doing that. And unfortunately, before I went to making these cards, I dropped everything, and I had it in, like, you know, a little container, and then I dropped it and I couldn't find all the little pieces. So I think I'm a couple less eggs than I had really wanted, but you know, that's okay. It's all right. I didn't feel like making more, so I just kind of went with what I had. I also made more flowers. I definitely wanted more flowers. I knew I would want more than just this one set, so I went ahead and colored up a bunch more off camera and cut those out also. So just kind of finishing this up here using my colors. Again, these are all colors, color packs that I had bought at Michael's store. And you know what? I am not sure of the pack colors, I guess, and I didn't write down the color numbers, and I apologize about that, but I will in future for sure. Now here's another technique that I learned watching Mindy Egan's video. Just put a bunch of color down. So I'm using a bunch of different blue colors here for the sky. You can see that one of my markers was really dry, the top one. Yeah, doing some blues and greens, just scribbling it down. Now this is a Tim Holtz watercolor piece, and I did use a watercolor piece here of paper because I knew I was going to be adding a lot of water, and I am adding a lot of water onto this and trying to get it to move back and forth, and it does move back and forth pretty nicely actually. So, and I'm going to go ahead and do my first swipe over, and then I'm going to dry it and then decide if I want to come back and go back over it with some more water, see if I can, you know, move it around a little bit more. Got an errant hair in there. Always happens when you have pets like I do. And I have taped this down to my cutting board so that it won't warp when I'm, you know, putting all this water and heat on here. So once I'm finished, I'll go ahead and pull the tape off. I try to be gentle, but it did tear a little bit, I will say that. And there's my piece. And I really like how that turned out. Colors turned out really vibrantly. So I went ahead and cut that out using a stitch rectangle frame from Fawn, and I also cut out a piece of Gotta Have Gingham paper. Fawn Gotta Have Gingham paper using one of the Fawn stitch rectangle dies also. Now this had actually dried overnight, actually I think multiple nights, multiple days. So it was very dry, and I knew it was. So I didn't test it to make sure it was dry because, like I say, I knew it had been multiple days. But I went ahead and treated it with my anti-static powder tool. And I'm going to be embossing some white clouds on here. And I'm using the clouds from Fawn's Plain and Simple stamp set. And I think I showed that a little bit earlier. And I'm just kind of wanted it to stand out a little bit there. Once I'm finished with that, I'm going to go ahead and also heat emboss Happy Easter. I think it says Happy, or does it? No, Happy. It does say Happy, sorry. Happy Easter. And I'm using Brutus Monroe Alabaster White embossing powder for both of those. Now here I just got this. This is Brutus Monroe Clear Glue, and I'm trying it out to see how I like it. I'm just attaching the regular stitch rectangle to the scalloped frame gingham piece. And then I'm going to add this onto a green cardstock, which I made. I don't even know. This is just a piece of green cardstock I had in my stash. I don't know the color and or the maker. I think I probably bought it at a local craft store. And I just cut that down and made it into an A2 size side folding card. And I'm going to kind of lay out my, you know, pieces that I've cut out and colored here just to kind of see what I like. And I'm going to use some of the flowers on each side. Use the girl who has the flower costume on, and then use one of the bunnies. And just kind of see where I want to place them. I'm going to pop the little girl up with some foam adhesive. Add a piece of foam adhesive also to the basket that she's going to be carrying. Put some more foam adhesive on the back of the bunny. And then I'm going to lay the Easter eggs down flat. And just adhere them straight onto the card base, along with this little birdie, which is going to be standing on one of the clouds. Now I am going to also ink up a sentiment for the inside, and it says, "Wishing you a very happy Easter." I have, again, some leftover images that I had colored and cut out, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere one to the inside and have him carry or hold a flower. Now I'm going to bring in some of my Nouveau clear drops. Now what I realized with this is I have not used it in a while, and it was really thick and difficult to work with, and actually it did not come out very easily, and I probably should have stopped when I first noticed it. It's hard to see it here, but you'll see it in the final pictures. It just did not give a real clean, even look, but you know, nothing I can do about it since I had already put it on there. But yeah, it might be time for me to get a new one of those. So this is the card, and here's the final look. I really liked working with these Tombow markers and how this card came out. Was glad that I was able to pull this stamp set out and give it some good love. So I hope that you all are doing very well and staying safe during this time. I appreciate you sticking with me and watching my video, and I hope to see you again soon in the next one. Bye.